Most real estate agents think commercial deals are out of reach until they realize that it's the same game, but just with higher stakes. Today, I'm joined by a commercial real estate broker who actually used to manage one of the area's biggest malls. And in this video, she's going to tell us all about how she's been able to make money outside of single-family residential real estate. Christian Harris, it's great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, owner of BPRE Real Estate.
Yes.
You guys are specialized in commercial real estate,
Correct.
residential real estate, and property management.
Yes.
And you guys are in different states, not even
Correct.
just in one state. That's great accomplishments.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't
How's the
realize it
business
until you said it.
It's like that sometimes, you know, when
Right.
you're so busy doing things, it's like, man,
Absolutely.
like you forget, like you're really doing monumental things. So salute to you on that,
Thank
you
you.
know, being able to bring up agents. That's super cool. A lot of real estate agents, like I was saying earlier, they think they can only do residential real estate. So giving them that opportunity to make money outside of that is great for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me a bit about like how you started in that. Well, before we even talk about starting in real estate, so what I knew you as when I first started following you, I knew that you were mall managing.
Yes.
Right?
Great.
So tell us about that. Like what got you into that? How was that experience? Because like we've all been to malls. We don't necessarily know how everything happens.
It's a little bit crazy. So how I got into it actually fell in my lap.
Okay.
I was at a point where I wanted to do something different outside of residential property management. And I applied for a position that was geared towards construction. And I was like, I want to do something a little bit different. They called me and told me that that position wasn't open anymore, but they had a different position in mind if I didn't want to come and do the interview. So I went and did the interview, and they were like, oh, by the way, it's a mall. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I was very excited to just be presented with that opportunity of never managing a mall before, but it falling right in my lap.
Yeah, that's super cool. Okay, so you've been doing real estate, you said 18 years, right? So almost 20 years,
On 18
but you were
years.
recently managing the mall. How is it like working, doing both of those things at the same time?
I would say it takes a lot of organization. That's
Okay.
the biggest key. Is it possible? Absolutely. But it's tiring for sure. So I was managing them all full time, pulling 40, 50 hours there, but then also getting off work and having to go straight into managing a brokerage. It was a lot. So I was losing a lot of sleep, but it is something that is easy if you have tools in place. It makes it work.
Yeah, systems and things like that. Okay,
Absolutely.
that makes sense. Now, I still want to talk about this mall just a little bit.
Yes.
What was one of your favorite moments from being a mall manager?
I would say the connection with my staff is probably the favorite. I managed about close to 30 people. So all of the different personalities that I got to interact with and just be on a personal level was like my hands down favorite. And then of course, managing my childhood mall. I grew up in a mall. So doing things like implementing cameras in there for the first time since the 80s was like, oh, wow, okay, we did that.
Don't they
So
have cameras before?
they did not have any
Oh my
cameras up
gosh,
until like 2
sheesh.
years ago when I got them put in. Right. So
Wow.
it was a shocker to everybody. It was like, oh wait, we can be seen now. We can't sneak through the corridors. I can see you. Right. So
Yeah, I
yes.
wish I would known about that mall when I was a teen.
Exactly. Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so that's one of your favorite moments. What
Mhm.
is the craziest thing you saw as a mall manager?
Oh my goodness. The amount of theft was insane. I think the
Because y'all didn't have
craziest
cameras as well.
right, exactly. We didn't have any cameras. But I think the craziest one was somebody stole one shoe and he came back the next day and stole the
So
other shoe.
that.
So that was hands down the funniest thing ever.
Oh,
And
man.
he did it real smooth. Like he came back was like, I'm just coming to get the other shoe. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And I was
Yo, he
like,
just told you? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
he told us like, we'll come back get the other shoe. I said, just let him have it.
Oh,
We're
wow.
not gonna fight over it. Yeah. So that was crazy. So when you're dealing with the public, you just don't know what to expect. So
Yeah,
that's always
yeah.
been fun.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I used to work at the mall. Now, of course, I wasn't a mall manager, but I used to work at Foot Locker.
Yes.
You know, you
Okay.
mentioned shoes and such.
Right.
So I really feel like the skills I learned at the mall really translated to real estate. Because before working at Foot Locker, I had no sales experience. I was
Okay.
what I call myself a sandwich artist
Right.
at Subway. That's what I was before.
Right.
So it was really cool, like, you know, being in the mall, getting that training with talking to people, you know, figuring out objection. You know, I learned so many sales skills without former sales training just from working at the mall. Like, did you make any connections, I would say, from the mall that have translated to real estate?
I would say not necessarily connections, but it was an opportunity for me to be known
Yeah.
in commercial real estate. So it makes a lot of the conversations a lot easier when I'm dealing with other commercial real estate agents where they know me. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things like, oh, you were the mall manager, and the conversation is more open to it.
Okay.
So I would say that was the greatest benefit. It's just being known in that sector was very important.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, okay, real estate for almost 20 years, and you're mainly in commercial real estate now, right?
Correct.
Did you start out in commercial real estate or did you start out residential
I
like most of
started
us?
off in multifamily property management.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yep.
property
So I
management.
was
Okay.
actually managing a property in 2007. It was 187 units in Portsmouth.
Oh, wow.
So I started off completely different. It's not even sales. It was
Okay.
just property management.
187 units.
Yes,
So
which is
you were the
light work.
person all the tenants were calling and all things
Oh
like
my
that.
goodness. Yes. Any problems you could think of was for me to deal with.
Yeah. Ooh.
Toilets, plumbing. Like when I say anything that fell in my lap, it was my problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's such a tedious job, but it gives you a lot of
Yes.
experience. You learn how to deal with people,
Hmm.
when it comes to owning properties and having tenants, you're like, okay, like I already
Yeah,
know
I
what's
know what to
about to
do.
happen.
Right. Yeah,
Interesting.
a lot of personalities. I was 20 when I started that position, so
Mhm.
it taught me how to handle people respectfully.
Yeah.
Because most everybody was older than me, so they were just like, "My grandkids are your age." I'm like, "Yeah, but I need you to go do this work order." Say that,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
it was one of those positions where it was well needed because it taught me how to be mature in this field.
I'm similar in that sense. So I started in real estate at 20 now.
Okay.
I was mostly the single family residential real estate agent. So it was always interesting, like helping out people, like people who were my grandparents' age, like
Hmm.
helping them with such a huge investment. It's like, yo, they're really looking at me for financial advice. I can't even
Absolutely.
legally drink. So it was
Can't go
always
celebrate
funny.
after this, right?
Yeah, it was always
Exactly.
funny when it came down to it, but like that was my first taste of corporate experience
Okay.
also. So I was very grateful for it and all the stuff that I've been able to learn from it. So you were in property management, right? What
Mhm.
was the next step after property management?
It was the introduction of sales. So
Okay.
I got my real estate license in 2014 and I did it as a backup. Like if this job doesn't work out, then I
Okay.
want something to fall back on.
Mhm.
So the next step was to just get into sales. It was
Mhm.
something that I had heard negative things about as being an
Interesting.
agent. A lot of
Like
people were
what?
like, oh, it's too expensive. And
Okay.
I see why now, right? If you're not selling, yeah, it
Yeah,
is too
yeah.
expensive.
Okay, all right. So PSA. So we did some research, and it looks like a lot of people that are watching, you're not subscribed to the channel. So please do me a favor because I'm giving you guys these free videos, free high-level information on real estate and real estate investing. Please, just for me, just for me. All you gotta do is click the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. Oh, also, just bonus, just share it with a friend who can find this helpful. Thank you.
But that was one of the things that I had always heard, like, it's too expensive, it's too much.
Mhm.
I was deteriorated from it, just
Yeah.
like, don't do that, stick to property management. But
Mhm.
I am very much of a person where if someone tells me not to do something, I'm going to go out my way to learn how to do it.
I'm the
So
same way. Mhm.
because of that, it drove me to starting to kind of just let me see what sales is. I was still in my career of property management. I had moved to a bigger apartment complex
Mhm.
in Newport News, but it
Mhm.
was like, I'm going to learn what this is and see how that works out.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay, nice. And this is what really intrigues me, this point right here, because you started property management, now you're in residential real estate sales, but like I said, this is an intriguing part. A lot of people stop here.
Right.
They don't progress after residential. They stay an agent. They stay an agent till they're 60, 70 years
Yes.
old. But what made you want to get out of just from being a regular agent to owning your own brokerage, but not owning your own brokerage, but owning a
Mhm.
commercial brokerage also?
I would say I knew I wanted to own my own brokerage because my mom had got me into real estate. So she was in real estate as well. And it was something where we were making partnerships and people were like, you guys can do this. And I
Hmm.
was like, you know what? We can. So we sit back at a table like probably like 2014, talking about we're going to own a residential property management company.
Hmm.
So 2014, this is supposed to be residential property management.
Hmm.
So I wanted to do something different because I am a people person. I like to teach people, I like to help people. So I wanted to make a company where
Hmm.
they felt like they were being a little bit treated in a better manner,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
just being mindful, like for example, in property management, if it starts snowing, we got to go out. They don't care. They don't care what happens to us driving to
Mm,
the property,
that's true, yeah.
right? So, but in the sense of being a property manager, it should not be something that I have to do. I should make sure my staff goes out because they're going to be cleaning the snow up,
Mhm.
but I shouldn't have to be there, right? So it was
Yeah.
just little things that I experienced as being a worker. I was like, I want to do something totally different. That moved me into getting tired. So I'm like, I want to do something outside of property management. I want to do something out of sale. Like,
Mhm.
what's next? So I started looking at buildings and I'm like, okay, how do I get to this? Which brought to me to my next part of my career, which is landing a job with CHKD managing their medical building.
Mhm.
So I didn't even know CHK had a real estate department. That was like, huh,
Interesting.
okay, this is different.
Yeah.
So I got a job there. I knew it was basic level of commercial, just enough to get me the knowledge and the experience that I could was like, okay, how do I navigate this and grow it to the next level?
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. I really like what you said about like really making sure that you're taking care of people because a lot of times with companies that you just don't see that unfortunately it's
Right.
like your staff they just gonna take the brunt of the work and like whatever happens it happens.
Oh well.
So yeah, I
Right.
mean taking care of
Yes.
your people that's what really matters.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's how you got into commercial real estate?
Yes.
Got you. Now, what led you to expanding to different states? Because, like I said, the progressions, a lot of people are just cool with, all right, cool, I got a brokerage in my hometown state, we're
Right.
good. But what led you to wanting to expand to other states?
I would say one because I like to travel. So that was my
Okay.
biggest thing. It was just
Okay.
like, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be in Georgia. Might as well open a brokerage in Georgia. I
Mm-hmm.
can do real estate while I'm here. So
Hmm.
that's what the initial thought process was. Everywhere that we're licensed at, we're licensed in Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia.
Okay.
These are places that I travel often. I
Hmm.
have family there. So it's
Got it.
something where I was able to, hey, let me crash here and do some work for the day
Hmm.
and come back around. So that kind of grew it to being to the multi-state purpose of it.
Okay, gotcha. Now, what's next for commercial real estate, and what's next for your brokerage? Like, do you plan on expanding even more?
I would say eventually I have a couple offers on the table right now with
Okay.
some local partnership that I'm
Okay.
considering. I have offers on the table to franchise in different states that I'm have no intentions on like being licensed in. So
Mhm.
it really
Mhm.
depends on I know what the long-term goal is. It's a matter of plugging and playing. It's just make
Yeah.
sure that the offers on the table make sense for my long term.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. I
Hmm.
was just gonna ask you that, like, how do you choose the markets that you wanna be in? Because, like, we're having that same issue here. It's
Hmm.
like, all right, we know we wanna be in different markets, but how do you choose which one? It's like, okay, do we go to North Dakota? Do we go to
Right.
LA?
Yeah,
Like, which,
exactly.
you know?
No, I would say
Hey, you want to make more money in real estate and real estate investing? Become a closer today. In Closure Society, we'll give you all the mentorship, the coaching, the training, the resources, scripts, and the deals. Yes, we will give you the deals. Partnerships and community is all found in Closure Society. So if you want to make the most money in real estate, which is what you want to do, right? Become a closer today. This is for real estate agents, real estate investors, and no, you don't need a real estate license to make money in real estate. You don't need to be in real estate full time. You don't even need to know what a real estate is to make money in real estate. And with Closure Society, we will supply you with everything. So remember to join Closure Society, go to closuresociety.org. Follow us on Instagram also at Closure Society. Let's make the most money in real estate and let's close these deals. Closers.
I choose the market that chooses me. And for example, Georgia's a good one.
Hmm.
I went on social media like I want to build out this brokerage. The flooding of inquiries I got
Hmm.
said, okay, Georgia could be my next one.
Hmm.
Right. So I think it really depends on what your goal is and how you want to navigate it. For me, it's just like, can I drive there in the day? Like I would prefer to fly, but can I drive there in the
Oh my
daytime?
gosh, you drive there?
I will if I have to, I will.
Okay,
All right. If I,
okay.
again, if I have to.
Yeah.
However, that was my thought process. Is like if I have to get in the car and go, like
Mhm.
I can't drive to LA
Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah,
Like
no
I'm
way,
not trying to,
no
right?
way.
So that was a part of the thought process there.
Makes sense, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, honestly, with ATO's TSA, I don't blame you for driving at this
Exactly.
point, man. I don't know what they got going
I
on
don't
over
know what, and
there.
I got people that work in there like, what y'all over here doing? All
I'm
right.
telling you, like, I play around a lot of airports, to be honest with you. Like,
Okay.
I wake up an hour before my
Oh,
flight and
see,
get
no.
there. But ATL, no, I'm
Mm-mm.
there like 3 hours
Right. You
early. You
can't play
gotta
those
be.
games.
You can't at all.
Yes, I will say I have someone that works there, so she gave me some like tips on how to navigate which one's a slower gate. So I'd be like,
Hmm.
yes, okay. But other than that, I don't play those games. I'm very much of a timing person.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. That makes sense. Now, I want to ask, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right?
Okay.
Because when we talk about commercial real estate
Hmm.
specifically, we typically think of one model that doesn't
Right.
look like me and that does not look like you.
Yes.
So, being a woman, and let's start off
Hmm.
with a woman first.
Okay.
Being a woman in commercial real estate, how's that experience been for you?
I would say it's been okay. I feel like it is a male dominated industry.
Mm-hmm.
And here I come with like my locks and J's, and I'm over here like,
Mm-hmm.
ta da, I'm here. It's been times where I've done deals, even like recently in the last month, I was there with my client. I'm walking through with the other commercial broker, and he's explaining to me what the LOI is. Like
Mm.
a letter of intent
It's the most basic.
is
Yeah.
this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. But as we start negotiating, he had to come back and be like, "How long have you been doing commercial real estate?"
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
because then the negotiations on the table, you get to see what I really know. So, I
Mhm.
will say it's a little bit challenging. I think as a whole, for people coming out of residential into commercial, you have these commercial agents that aren't answering the phone because they feel like they do too much residential. They don't
Mm,
answer emails. Like,
mm,
so a lot of times people are coming to me like, I can't even get them to answer the phone. And
mm,
I'm like, yeah, okay. What are you doing? Are you emailing them at 6 p.m.? Because they joke and say that residential agents work all the time, right? So if you're
mm.
not emailing them from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., they're going to ignore you. When they come back the next day, they're going to ignore you even more. I would say that it has been very interesting to be a woman in this because it is a real heavy dominated male industry for sure.
Interesting. Okay, and to talk about, you mentioned the J's specifically, right? So we've
Hmm.
seen you on social media, fresh kicks, right?
Yes,
Showing
yes,
off the
fresh
Jordans.
kicks.
What inspired that? Were you just like a sneakerhead growing up?
I was. So my
Okay.
grandmother actually was a sneakerhead. It is just
Okay.
full circle because the company is named after her. So her
Okay.
nickname was
Nice.
VP. So I named the company after her. She was the sneakerhead. Like
Mm-hmm.
my uncle was in New Orleans. He used to send us sneakers here. And
Mm-hmm.
back then down south we used to get sneakers first. And then we used to get sneakers. So I used to go to school with like J's that hadn't even been out yet.
Oh,
So
nice.
when I
Nice.
was talking to my teenager, he told me I need to do more content. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I just want to sell real estate. So he was like, just talk about something you like. And I was like, I like shoes. So then it just started being like, okay, fresh kicks, fresh kicks. And then pretty dope to see people out and they'd be like, well, what shoes you wearing today? I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, that's super
Yes.
cool.
Hmm.
So what made you actually take that leap? Because especially, not just being a woman, but
Hmm.
being a minority woman
Right.
in real estate, a lot of times you may feel the pressure like, oh, I want to conform to everybody else. I need to put
Right.
on like a suit or dress formal. What made you take that leap and just really be yourself?
I would say just literally that I felt like I had to be myself
Mm-hmm.
because it's the easiest way for me to market. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not putting on a facade of, okay, here's who I am in front of this camera. And then when I get home, I'm just crying like, oh my God, I don't want to wear heels anymore. So it
Mm-hmm.
was something that was important to me to stay true to myself. I'm very much of a just original raw person. So I give people my personality of here it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something where I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then adding the fact of being a minority into commercial real estate
Yeah.
made me want to do it even more because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really going to stand out if I'm walking in with some J's on and they're like, who is this person? Right.
Yeah.
So I felt like that part was very important to me just to stand out. I'm already standing out. Might as well add some little spice to it.
Yeah, that's so good. That's
Hmm.
so good. Yeah, I mean, when I started, I kind of dealt with a similar thing. Like, I actually fell into the pressure of it at first, to be honest with
Right.
you. Like, I was dressing in suits, trying to talk a certain way and things
Hmm.
like that. And I just was so
It
uncomfortable. And like, my
is.
first year was just such a terrible year. And a lot of that was because I was trying to feed into that. And I just wasn't myself and I wasn't confident, and people could just see that. So when I
Absolutely.
made that switch and I became myself, I started dressing how I wanted to, doing things like being comfortable.
Hmm.
That's when production started to rise. And like, honestly, I make jokes all the time. I've got so many contracts signed in Gucci
Right.
slides. Like it happens all the
Right.
time.
Absolutely.
But it's not about your appearance. It's about what's really
What you
up
have.
here,
Right.
and it's about what you can provide to the client as far as
Mhm.
value. So
No, I agree. I think people feel your energy too. So
yes.
I think that's a big part of it is that when you're being fake, they can feel you're being fake. And when you're just trying to sell them something, they know you're just trying to sell it to them. So I think that's the biggest key with understanding who you are first and then
Hmm.
being able to navigate that because it makes doing deals, it makes being you a lot easier. You don't
Yeah.
have to fake it. You don't have to be like, wait, what? What did ChatGPT tell me to say again? Or
One
like, no,
hundred
this is
percent.
me. This is how I talk.
I'm gonna ask a question,
Hmm.
right? I don't want you to take it the wrong way, right? When I first got in real estate, it's changed a lot in 5 years, I would say.
Okay.
But at the time, it was very dominated by people who didn't look like me. We're
Hmm.
talking single family residential real
Right.
estate, right?
Okay.
Now it's getting more mixed, right?
Yep.
But commercial, I'm not seeing that at all. So like I've had people say, like, you don't want to mess with commercial, like they're not gonna accept you whatsoever.
Right.
And there, as a black woman,
Mhm.
how would you feel about a minority stepping into the commercial real estate aspect?
I think that is something that I feel, and this is actually a really deep answer.
Mhm.
I feel like it starts with being at real estate school, right? And the reason I say that is because anybody I talk to, they say that when I went to real estate school, they got to the commercial side and they said, oh, it's too hard. Just
Yep.
don't do that. So I feel
Mhm.
like that is the first start and the first issue
Mhm.
is that people and agents in general don't understand that you can take that same license that you're doing with residential and do it in commercial.
Mhm.
So I think that's the first problem. The second problem is that it's not enough education. So if somebody says that I want to go get my real estate license, I want to sell a house, they'll have 30 people knocking down their door like, let me teach you this. If you say the same thing, like I want to start selling commercial, I want to help lease commercial,
Mhm.
it's crickets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, great, good luck. I feel like that's part of the problem. I want to see more minorities in the field. I
Mm.
feel like that is something that is missing. And intentionally, what I do now is with my training is because I know that if I can train enough people now in the
Mm.
next 5 years, 10 years, it's going to be a big difference in what this looks like. So if you consider commercial real estate, and it's actually someone in Hampton Roads, it's like their grandfather, the dad, and the son all does commercial real estate,
Nice.
right? So it's a
Nice.
generational thing.
Mhm.
I taught you, you teach my next, and you keep
Mhm.
on going. So I feel like if you can break that in the sense of who you're teaching commercial real estate to, with the understanding they should be passing this information along to the next generation, I
Mhm.
feel like it would change how real estate looks in the next like 5 to 10 years. So that's like
Mm.
a ultimate like tail to commercial real estate world
Mhm.
with that in mind. Like I
Yeah.
want to change how it looks.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so just for anybody, if you're, let's say I'm a residential real estate agent
Mhm.
right now, right? But I'm looking to make the switch to commercial real estate. What are your top 3 tips that you would give? Like,
I
what are the
was
first 3 things I need to do right now?
I would say find a mentor. I lucked up in my career and got some great mentors, and I won't take anything from that. So finding a mentor is number one. I think the difference between, well, not even think, I know the difference between commercial and residential is that residential are the same documents and just changes a little bit based
Mhm.
off what you're tweaking. Commercial is knowing the language. So that
Mm.
brings me to my second thing is studying it. You're gonna have to put more study efforts into commercial than you probably ever would have done with
Mhm.
the residential side. Number three is just being honest and telling people that it is new for you and you want to learn about it. I think I see a lot of people say they know commercial and then I get calls of someone saying that a residential agent got them in a lease and now they're stuck, right?
Mm.
And it's just like, okay, let me see the lease. What happened here? So I think if you're honest with people and telling them like, hey, this is new to me, but I want to learn. I have a mentor that can guide me. I think you'll get more business in general. So that way you won't set people up for failure.
Now tell me, how does the pay work for commercial real estate? Because you mentioned they work less, but they make more most of the time. So
Right.
like, how does that structure really work? Because I think those deals, they typically take, you're in escrow for a much longer period,
Yeah,
right?
you are. Yes.
Okay.
So it depends on if you're doing sales or leasing. I think if you're just starting off, that's my tip four. Start off with leasing.
Okay.
Don't go into sales first. So I
Yeah.
would say start with leasing first. Structure and it's the same as far as the residential versus commercial. It's about what you negotiate. I think the biggest key is that you have to understand as coming into a residential agent or coming into commercial as a residential agent, you're not going to be giving your commission, right? So it is like a unread thing where like I'm going to sell this house, I'm going to get a commission. If you don't mention that commission in your LOI, you won't get paid.
Oh, wow.
I've seen people,
Wow.
residential agents, not know that. They'll get all the way to the contract, sign a contract, like, oh, where's my money? It's like, you didn't mention it. It's not
Oh,
there. So you have to know that you have to mention it up front
yeah.
versus on the back end. That being the biggest key. The pay works the same. It's based off your square footage. It's based off the price per square foot, and that fluctuates how much money you're going to get.
Okay. And then last question on it, because I know you're busy. You got to get to another commercial property.
Right.
Okay, top 3 again.
Okay.
What
Top
are,
three.
you said studying is super important. What
Mhm.
are the top 3 things that you would need to study for commercial real estate?
I would say commercial, the lingo
Lingo.
of understanding
Okay.
if someone say PSF or LOI and all the little terms that they use
Okay.
to know what that is. So studying the lingo, I would say what else to learn? That's a good question. Number two would be I'm gonna go with lingo again.
Okay.
And the reason
Okay.
that because if you truly don't know the lingo and the
Yeah.
language of it,
Mhm.
then you won't know commercial real estate.
Mhm.
Which brings me back to the language part, right? So this is all
Mhm.
about the words and how it's spoken, how it's said, understanding what you're reading and being able to comprehend it to tell someone else what it is and be able to comprehend it and negotiate it on your behalf is a big
Mhm.
difference. I think the another key for commercial versus residential is that it is a shared community. I feel like in residential, people are like, "This is my client. Don't talk to them."
Mm.
And commercial is like, "No, please come talk to them. Come help me find a building." Right?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
understanding the partnership in commercial it goes way further. Who you know in that commercial realm is very important.
Mhm.
So like if I'm looking for a deal and I email agent A and I'm like, "Hey, I have a salon user that I want a deal for." If they say, "I don't have that," a good commercial agent says, "I don't have that here, but I have another portfolio. I know someone that has it," is what you're
Mm.
looking for. So that partnership in commercial is top tier needed. Partnering with other commercial agents, we don't treat each other like we're the enemy. We treat each other like we have a common goal to make this happen. And we need to make sure that it does happen. So
That's so, so good.
yes.
I love that you mentioned that relationships and
Hmm.
partnerships. Because, I mean, the single family residential side, man, people be burning bridges all the
Yes, they
time. People,
do.
they act like you're at war. It's like, man, like, it's nothing personal. We trying to
Right.
get the
We just
deal
got to get the
done.
deal done. Right. Absolutely. I've had plenty of conversations of like, hey, just a reminder here. We're
Mm-hmm.
not enemies.
Yeah.
You have a client, I have a client, they have feelings.
Yeah.
And we need to be the sensible people to come together to make sure it makes sense. So
Exactly.
yes, I feel like in commercial, I'm pawning off my client. Just say, help
Mhm.
us find something, help us navigate this. So that's a big difference in the key with commercial.
Yeah, this is so good. Well, Christian Harris, I appreciate you for coming on.
Yes.
Tell the people where can they find you at, follow you on socials and that.
So, social media on Instagram is Fresh Kicks Broker Chris.bpre. And in all other platforms of social media, it's just Christian Harris.
Dang, you heard
Yes.
her. Follow her. And if you
Yes.
want to know anything about real estate investing, or commercial real estate, multifamily real estate, one, become a closer. Click the link below. Go to closersociety.org. But also, two, watch the next video for more info. Bye.